If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, Innkeeper, and this is your live calling talk show all about the Wheel of Time. And what Wednesday isn't over? Yeah, we were here, I feel like 12 hours ago. Yeah, I went live 9 a.m. Eastern, and now we're here at 9 p.m. Eastern. We had a lot of Tanchiko this morning at the Dusty Wheel. Season 3 stills keep on coming from the Wheel of Time. But we're taking a step back. We're doing our cast spotlight series, and I feel like the last time we did this was over a year ago, maybe even like 2023, before season 2 came out. And we're talking Becoming Elaida. Our cast spotlight is on Shohreh Aghdashloo, and this show is, the format of this is very particular. So let me kind of before I get my guest in here and kind of get into the show, kind of go over what to expect. The first kind of 45 minutes or so, we're going to be talking about Shohreh Aghdashloo, the actor. This portion of the show will be no book spoilers. So we're talking only about Shohreh. So if there's, only show watchers, first-time readers that are here, you can stay through that part without any issues. And then we'll talk about Elaida, the character in the Wheel of Time books, and only talk about Elaida, the character. And towards the end of the show, we kind of bring those two pieces together and then talk about Shohreh Aghdashloo as Elaida. So let's get started before I bring my guests in. Shohreh Aghdashloo was born in May of 1952 in Tehran, Iran. She started her career on the stage, and she quickly established herself as a leading actor and achieved nationwide stardom in Iran. Movies like The Report, which won critic awards at the Moscow Film Festival. After moving to the U.S., she was active as a stage actor and did some minor roles in Hollywood before playing Dina Raz in season 4 of the action drama thriller 24. She then went on to star in the Hollywood adaptation of the novel House of Sand and Fog, portraying a wife and mother who had moved to the U.S. from Iran and the tragic story of that family. And she actually was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. She has then gone on to play multiple acclaimed roles in TV and film, in X-Men: The Last Stand and Star Trek Beyond, and then winning the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a limited series or movie for the 2008 HBO miniseries House of Saddam. Fans know and love her distinctive voice, especially sci-fi fantasy fans who have watched Christian Avsarala on The Expanse. And all of this brings us to the Wheel of Time, one of the most popular fan casts that had been going around in about 3 years ago of Shohreh Aghdashloo was for the role of Aes Sedai Katsuin Melaydrin. And she took to Twitter responding, saying, "What is it about all these suggestions, me playing a character in the Wheel of Time? Why do you want me to play Katsuin?" This was December 18, 2021. And she actually wrote to Rafe Judkins. "Hi, Rafe Judkins. The fans say we need to talk." And Rafe replied, "Girl, I'm in. I don't know how to use Twitter, but if I did, I would DM you. You've been on my mood board for a certain character since 2018. Shohreh replied, "Sounds great. Send me a DM. We will take it from there." And Rafe replied, "We are officially DMing. Thank you, Twitter of Time." And about 3 years later, from December 2021, we finally got Shohreh Aghdashloo in the Wheel of Time as Elaida. So to talk about Shohreh, 4 wonderful guests joining me: Rebecca from Reading the Pattern, lesbian nerdy Jenny's here, Kat from Quarters of Time, and Carlene Perry, TV critic from Collider, and through Lord of Chaos. Now I just realized my spoiler warning might change because right, have you finished Lord of Chaos, Carly?
Yes, I am
Okay.
on book 7 now.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
which is funny because I actually just read. I'm about like 15-ish% into book 7, which starts, if you'll recall, with a very long Elaida
Oh yes, yes.
chapter. So as I was reading it, which I was reading it on the heels of this casting, I was like, I'm so glad I can picture Shohreh in my head now as I'm reading as I'm in Elaida's head. So that was kind of a bit of surreal.
Okay. So when we get to our Elaida part, we'll be talking book 6 spoilers, I guess. Yeah. Yes, everyone's talking about amazing guests. Yes. I mean, Elaida stands representing, right? Everyone in chat, welcome. We're gonna get into this. So our first kind of, the way we talk about it, we'll talk about a few film, TV shows, but the first one, that I picked was 24. This is a show I have watched. I feel like years ago. I don't even know how long 24 has been off the been done with. But Rebecca, you took a gander at this. So tell us about Shohreh in 24.
Okay. So before I feel like I have to give like a disclaimer about my experience with 24, just a little. I had never watched any 24 before this past week, and watching, as homework for this. It's not a show I would have picked up on my own, but I did start at the beginning of season 4, which is the season that Shohreh is in. And I watched a couple 24 for idiots type videos before that. So I wouldn't be completely not knowing who characters were. But each season kind of seems kind of self-contained. So it was cool. It was fine. And I watched most of the episodes that she was in, other than a couple that seemed minor for her.
Right.
So I've seen her arc. And I guess what I would say is that there's certainly a lot of stereotypes and involved in this plot. I'm not gonna I guess spoil too much, but she's playing a terrorist, and as part of her family is involved with this large terrorist group who we only kind of see certain members of, but her husband kind of seems like the driving force, but she is a believer in their cause, and then they have a teenage son that they've kind of roped into it as well. I mean, Shohreh is a great actress, so I think she's better than the writing for the character, in my opinion. The character is a believer, she has conviction in it, but they never really explore the reason behind that. Why does she have this conviction? I would really like to understand that, but it's not
Right.
something that the show gets into. And she's challenged because that conviction comes up against protecting her son. And that's the conflict of the character, is staying to her conviction, which we don't fully understand, but know that she believes that she's right firmly, which is, a key piece, but then she's not putting that above her son, the love for her son. And that's the conflict. So yeah.
Dawson said,
enough of a
24
summary, but-
was where I first saw Shohreh. And Rajesh is I can hear the 24 countdown sound effect. That's so funny. I don't know.
Oh my God, that's going to be stuck in my brain for the rest of my life.
But yeah, as a show, right? 24, if people are not familiar with it, it's a very a show for the time it came out in, very there were 24 episodes to it. It was an hour, in real life hour, at least portrayed that way, right? 24
Yeah.
episodes of one day. in each
Right.
hour was one episode. So it was
Yeah,
you know,
each
an interesting concept. Yeah.
the beginning of each episode, they say the following takes place between like 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. or
Right. Yeah.
whatever the hour is. And I was curious about that because I knew that as like the conceit of the show. I knew that, and that it's like counterterrorism. Like that's the as much as I really knew about the show.
Yeah.
But I was curious like how that would feel. But honestly, to me, it didn't feel that different than like any other show, other than they're condensing it into these hours. But it could just as easily hours could have passed between in some cases. And I don't know. It wasn't like, maybe in other seasons it's more like it feels like a day, but it didn't feel like a day.
Yeah, I mean, a lot happens though, and it is a lot happens in that period of time. But yeah, Shohreh's kind of role there. There's this one scene, and I'm gonna play not a scene from the show, but Shohreh talking about it. But there's this one scene where there's this her son's girlfriend finds out about their activities, and how Shohreh kind of manipulates her son into trying to kill the girlfriend, and I felt like that was a really good scene.
By the way, like a little side note, the actor who plays her son in 24 also plays her son in House of Sand and Fog.
Yes, I realized. Yes, I saw that.
I was wondering about that actually.
Yes. Actor.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
wow.
So the House of Sand and Fog, I forget the actor's name who plays her son, was their first role in a film. So I think
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. I could be wrong, but like it was like from
he's
before.
young. He seems
He's
young,
young.
so
Yeah.
makes sense,
Anyone else here? Any thoughts on 24 and Shohreh? Her character does play a role, but it's not a very long role. But it is a memorable role, because when Shohreh was first mentioned, I remembered I've seen her years ago in that role. So there's more to just her voice. I think there's like character. She brings more to the character than just her voice, right? even though her voice is
that's why
it's so
I say,
awesome.
like, she's better than the writing is for the role. Just in terms of layers that she might bring to it, or emotion that she brings out. It's just could be a lot more writing, but at the same time, she is a more interesting character than like her husband, who is maybe, I don't know, technically more involved, but he's not that interesting, I don't think, as a character. He's very like more one-dimensional as a character, I think.
Right. Yeah. Ursa, 24 hours no sleep to save the world. Yes. Jenny, Carly, I know you've said you've seen some of 24. Carly, any thoughts on that role in particular, other than what we've talked about?
Yeah, this was the first of her roles that I ever saw. I have a very vivid memory of not just having watched most of 24, even before my job became to watch TV for a living, but I remember her standing out so much to me, because as soon as she opened her mouth, I was like, who is this actress?
Right.
Like she leaves an impression on you, I think, even before you really get to know, who she is, and like have seen her in other roles. And like Rebecca said, I mean, she elevates the material, and we've sort of all touched on this a little bit, I think, but 24 is very much a product of the time in which it was written, the time that it was coming out, the landscape of, feelings in the country at the time, and how that manifested. And now I think we can look back on it and say, that was definitely sentiments that are, and I think even a lot of critics at the time pointed out the fact that it's lacking in a lot of areas, as much as it is sort of, the Jack Bauer, like, Kiefer Sutherland, racing against time to save the country from like another terrorist threat. Like there's parts of it that, do not hold up. But I just remember her standing out so vividly in my mind, even though I think I've gone on to, no, I have gone on to love other roles of hers a lot more. I just
Right.
remember her presence in that season specifically standing out so
Right.
vividly,
Yeah.
watching it for the first time, that even now I'm like, oh yeah, she's probably one of the best parts of that season.
Yeah, I watched back and I was like, oh, she's not the like main antagonist that stayed the whole season. There's other people, and my what I remembered was it was her, and
She's
that's
more
not
interesting than
right.
any
Exactly.
of the other ones.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that I want to say about it is when you're watching her in this role, you are wondering in every scene she's in, like, what is she going to do?
Right.
Like, there is that, like, I don't know, other characters might be more predictable about what they're going to do. There is a mystery to her, and you really don't know at any given moment exactly how she's going to handle herself. So that's
a perfect segue to the clip I want to play. This is from an interview that Shohreh did with I think it's like the Asia Society talking about 24 and that role. So let me play that.
I heard that my role in 24, portraying a wife, a mother, a lover, a thinker, a terrorist, was supposed to be a typecast role, but I never felt that I was typecasted or stereotyped. And I kept saying that there is no such a type that I could be the stereo of it, because this woman in 24, I created her from scratch. So that's a kind of person that I had in mind, and I went for it, and I tried. And as much as my audience was anxious to know what's going to happen next to me and what I'm going to do to other people next, I was going through it at the same time. What am I going to do with these people? Why am I doing this? Because as an actor, you're not supposed to judge your character, but you're supposed to justify what your character does. I very much believe in what Antonin Artaud, whom we call the father of theater, we used to call him the father of theater back in Iran. I very much believe in what he says. And he says, actors are people, are creatures who are standing in the fire pointing out to the truth. They have to burn themselves in order to point out to the truth. So for me, there aren't any inhibitions in playing a role, thinking that I've been typecasted here. I don't look at my roles like that.
So yeah, I mean, she was in that role. She said she played it, and with no inhibitions, and that's you see that in pretty much all of her work. And I thought this was, really well kind of represented for that role in 24. So yeah, let's kind of move on to a show that I started watching. Like, I wanted to watch this for like the longest of times, right? But I was like, as I'm like the clock ticked down to, I need to do this show. I can't do this show and not have watched The Expanse. So I'm through season 3. I'm not done with season 3, but I'm like, I've seen enough of Shohreh to be like, okay, I get what everyone's talking about.
I was going to say, do you understand?
Yeah,
I understand. I mean, I knew how great she is. But so The Expanse is, is a book series. It's based on this kind of, world in the future where the solar system is, instead of like the global world Earth, there's like the global solar system. You have Earth, Mars, you have the belt, which is, I would call that another nation, and there's politics, there's sci-fi stuff. Jenny, did you just arrange this?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was scratching my face.
I'm like, oh, okay. And
like you were like,
and there's politics. There's like this. The first season had this kind of a crime noir detective kind of feel to it, and Shohreh plays Christian Avasarala, who is the UN Deputy Undersecretary. So she's like the vice president of the world, is how I thought of it, or somewhere along that line. And so she plays this, kind of strong, politician, and kind of like head of intelligence is how I thought of it. And so she's playing a lot of, schemes, trying to understand what's happening with kind of this attack that happens that starts off possibly a war between Mars and Earth. And she inserts herself into pretty much, a lot of danger to get what she wants. And one of the things that she says is, Earth must come first, as like one of the things that her character says. So yeah, a very strong character, a leader of sorts. And you see her getting more and more involved in the story, as the characters kind of, some characters leave and new characters come, and she's still around. And how far I've gotten, I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to see where else she's going to go. But yeah, Expanse. If not for anything else, Expanse is a great show. Christian Avasarala is like top billing in terms of Shohreh shows. I know all of you here probably have seen this and love this. So let me go to you, Kat. The Expanse and Christian. Like, is there something that stands out in terms of that role for you?
I just love how she is. So she's not the best person. Her character is not the best person. She does a lot of messed up things for her own reasons. She does, and that's very much one of the big themes of the show. It's that, are there any good people? Are there any bad people? Is this, like, everyone is doing things very much for their own reasons and their own motivations, but she is very committed to what she is setting forth to do. And she has amazing one-liners.
Yes.
This is the first. Yeah, her one-liners are like, I'm sure there are compilations on YouTube of just
hey. Do we want to do it? Do we want to do it? Do you want to do it now?
Yes,
I feel like we have to do it now. We have to do it now. Okay, all right, we're doing it. And people talking about spoilers, we're gonna not go out of our way to spoil it. We're gonna be very broad strokes for most of this. And if we do feel like there are spoilers that we're gonna talk about, maybe we can preempt that. So definitely. Do not worry about that. Although I am going to show some clips, so if you don't want to like get that, like even that spoiled. Although I made an edit, so it's only up to season 3, so even I don't get spoiled. Okay. So you're safe if you've seen up to that. So yeah, enjoy Christian Avasarala in The Expanse.
With all due respect, madam, where are you going with this?
Wherever I goddamn like.
You're Christian Avasarala.
Yes.
The UN Deputy Undersecretary.
This is going to be very tedious if you remain this dim.
I don't understand. What the hell kind of a ship is this?
Right. The tedious version, then.
Why didn't you ever run for office?
I like getting shit done, and I like to keep my head attached to my neck.
Madam Undersecretary, I appreciate you coming.
Just get to the point.
Why did I marry such a great woman?
You got very lucky. So these rogue employees managed to make a profit and a war without even going over budget. God, maybe we should get these people on our payroll. Have any of their other ships changed course or launched or done anything provocative?
Madam, by the time you see it on that display, it will be too late.
I know how fucking thing works. Answer my question.
You sure this isn't personal?
You're damn right it's personal.
When was the last time you left Earth?
None of your goddamn business.
I'm sorry about Kotia.
Did you kill him? Then your sorries.
I'll be right back.
You're fired.
Dozens of modules in that system. It would take me hours to...
Then stop wasting time.
So you're in charge of defense?
Damn right.
Keep clenching your thighs.
If you're hitting on me, I'm flattered.
How are you feeling?
I hate space. What?
Just checking in, ma'am.
No, I wasn't murdered in the last 30 seconds.
I'd feel a lot better if I had some people on the ground. This group has a history of run-ins with the government.
Really? I'd no idea.
Ma'am.
Think they'll file an injunction on me?
I'd still like to further understand exactly
If I see one person on the ground or one helicopter overhead, you'll be living on basic assistance by the end of the month.
Yes, ma'am.
The only reason I'm still on this ship is to make sure you don't get it.
You're right. We're not going to be friends. Holden here can space the three of you for being such intolerable idiots. Honestly, I can go either way. Say something to distract me.
I don't like this whole setup. Why is Mal suddenly so eager to come in from the cold?
Actually, be quiet. It's nice to be having an actual conversation instead of trading recordings for once.
It would have been even nicer if you had met us halfway.
Sergeant Draper has been through a severe traumatic event. She needs to rest.
Whoever the fuck you are, stand down and let her speak.
I let one F-bomb in there.
It's not worth it.
I was like,
Avasarala without an F-bomb.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was like, the one for the show is given to her. It's Christian's. Yes. We have one for the show, and that was hers. The effort it took me to put in those bleeps, too much. I should have just left them in. But yeah, she's definitely got those one-liners. And it just, I just kept seeing the head a lot from that one episode, the Weeping Somnambulist. It's such a great episode. It's probably one of my favorites. Yeah. But yeah, Kat, like to that point, right? Like just like, she swears, she's strong, but she's very captivating in all of that, right?
Yeah, she's a deeply emotional woman too. She cares deeply about things, but she is constantly caught between giving into that side of her and having to stay the strong politician type. And sometimes you see what happens when she kind of flips over to the emotional side and how that goes for her, and when she goes too far onto the one side. It's really fascinating to see. And I mean, you can tell that she is a theater, like she has her background in theater, because there is a certain gravitas that theater actors have. It's just this incredible presence, and she just like when there's a scene with her, you can't help but pay attention to her character. Like it's only her.
Right. Yeah.
And that cast is incredible, but she is like
right. Yes. You're like waiting for like, what is she going to say next? Right, Jenny? Like you're like waiting to be like, okay, how is she going to like make this other person like, like because her character is very like, I wouldn't say dominating, but like she's very like, she is like, if she's in the room, she's going to be the most important person in that room, and Shohreh does that really well, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've literally said the words I was going to say. When she's in the room, I like nobody else is pulling. Even in 24, I only watched 2 episodes of it, but when she was on screen, I wasn't. I know I'm predisposed to look at Shohreh, but I wasn't caring about the other people, and definitely in The Expanse, when she's in the room, she's the most important person in the room, which is why we all like, we're like, oh, she's going to be Catsway. We're not talking about that yet, but like when she walks in the room, she's the focus. And in The Expanse, I saw some comments about this as well. Watching that clip, this is not really relevant, but oh my God, the costumes.
Oh yes.
Oh, so good.
So good.
The wardrobe was amazing in that show.
Yeah. Dale saying I only ever watched a few episodes of 24. I didn't watch The Expanse, so this was my introduction. I mean, really, I mean, I'm sure anything you watch of hers is good, but this as a show is a really good show, and she has a really good kind of role and arc in it, from at least what I've seen, and I think hopefully going on into the future too. But yeah, The Expanse is probably one of her most famous kind of roles in the last, in the recent past, at least. She's done a lot of cool stuff, but I feel like that's the one that brought it to most fantasy sci-fi fans, right? The Expanse, as that. Any other thoughts before we move on to our next?
I was just gonna say, like, there's something about her, like, she makes the choices she makes and takes on the roles that she takes on, because she's like, no one else can do this. She's like, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. She's like, everybody else will F this up. And so that's why she does what she does, because she firmly believes, and kind of correctly most of the time, that like no one else is going to do it. No one else is going to do it right. And But then, like Kat was saying, you also see underneath, you see that persona is like a mask that she wears. So she puts on because she has
Right.
to. And there is that side of her behind that you see, which is also a key to the character.
Yeah, for sure.
She wear like incredibly competent in the
Yes.
Expanse. Like she's incredibly competent, and you inherently trust her. Like when even at times when she's making decisions, like you want to defer to her because she walks in with such authority, and you're like, oh well, on paper I'm not sure, but you said it, so I'm sure. Like that's it's a weird thing.
Yeah, I'll roll with it. I'll roll. I don't know about, but I'll roll with it. You know, because I'm fine trusting you with this for sure. Yeah. No, she. I'm looking forward to more of this, and yes, I don't know how she is in the book series, that character, but Lee Shohreh plays that on the screen really, really well.
She's very good in the book series.
Very good in the book
Also
series.
excellent.
Yeah.
And even better in the show. Like there is even more depth to the character, even though the book character is also good.
Right. Okay. Let's go to our next. Kat, you watched The Flight Attendant. Tell us what that show is about, and how do we see Shohreh play a role in that?
So this was my first time really watching it. I'd kind of heard about it before, but essentially it follows. It stars Kaylee Cuoco. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She's surprisingly a flight attendant who struggles with alcoholism. This is literally the premise of the show, so it's not a spoiler. She struggles with alcoholism. She wakes up in the wrong room with a dead body, and things progress from there.
Right.
It's very much a dark comedy. That's very much the vibe of it. But Shohreh's character plays her sponsor in season 2. And so this was really the first kind of role that I've seen. And I think like a lot of her other roles are peppered with comedy as well, but this was really the first time I've seen her in a comedic role. And you know, like I forgot how funny she is. You know, like she's funny in The Expanse, she's funny in other roles, but she has this very like sort of biting humor in the show, and so she'll drop these little tidbits as she's talking to Kaylee Cuoco's character, and these really dark things, and you can just see like the character Cassie's like, wait, what? And she'll kind of like breeze past it, like, you know, oh yeah, my house burned down, and Kaylee, her character's like, wait, what? What are you talking about? But there's also this deeply emotional sort of side to her, and deeply empathetic side to her. It was just it's a different role than I've seen Shohreh play, but it was really nice to see sort of the comedic side, to see her stretch her comedic chops a bit.
Right. Jenny, Carl, you've seen Shohreh in that. I think she doesn't play that big of a role. It's like a guest kind of thing. What stood out to you in this, you know, other than the comedic part? Was there anything else that you wanted to bring up? There is a clip I wanted to play from it, but anything else that kind of stood out to you?
Not particularly. I it's the same feeling I have from most of her roles, that she walks in and she is, as I said before, the most important person. She has the authority, and she, even through the comedy and the words that she says feel important and significant.
Right. Yeah. No. She. I think that's like again, maybe going back to that stage actor person, where like you dominate. You dominate space with, you know, how you act and how you like look at you don't look at the camera, right? But you like look towards the camera, and your voice, obviously. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let me play. This is from season 2, episode 5, and this was a good scene. Let me bring it up here.
Ready anger for violence? Driving drunk to the beach, for God's sakes?
After everything you told me you went through with your dad?
I know. I don't know why I did that.
Nope, it's not showing up. Give me 1 second. There we go.
And I was doing so well.
Oh my God. No, you weren't. Look
There we
where
go.
we are. None of this works without rigorous honesty, which means you tell the truth even when it's easier to lie.
So now I'm just back at square one.
Cassie, the point is, you never left square one. You built your recovery on a house of cards. And it fell over. That's what a house of cards does. And until you take that first step and admit that you're powerless over the dark parts of yourself, you just keep knocking down cards.
God, starting over makes me want to just walk right into that ocean and never come out.
I've tried that once. Really. Yes. After my second marriage, and I got caught up in the drama and forgot about the physics. Didn't use enough weight. So the waves just washed me back up to the shore. Shoo. Like nothing at all. I was feeling nothing. Like I was nothing. Take it from the lady who tried drowning herself. It's a hell of a lot easier to just quit drinking.
Yeah, we talk about like how it's a comedic role, and like this is like her giving.
We're all sitting here just like, oh
my God.
Yeah.
Even in this, like, if I were just to see that, I'm like, oh, she's the star of the show.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
She's the main character.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because she just pulls your focus in. It's so good.
It really is. It's she does it so well, and yeah, no, there's something about the way she talks and not just the voice, right? And that it's quite clear. All right, let's talk about the next one. Let's do another two, and then we can move on. The Punisher, right? She was in The Punisher, and Carly. I think she was in the first season of The Punisher, right?
Yeah, she plays the mother of Amber Rose Reba's character, Madani, who people watch The Punisher. Amber's character is basically this agent who gets kind of swept up in investigating these murders and thinks that they're connected to this vigilante that's running around called the Punisher, who's played by John Bernthal. Most of Shohreh's role in this is kind of just serving as like a sounding board for her daughter. They have a lot of wine chats. They have a lot of, conversations about ambition and like, Madani kind of coming up through the organization and like trying to climb the ladder. And, where it makes sense to sort of like make your move on a professional level, while also sort of acknowledging that you're at somewhat of a disadvantage as like a woman of color in that space too. So she doesn't have many scenes. I think she's really only in 4 episodes out of the like 13 of season 1. And most of her scenes are with Amber, and the two of them talking in a room until, as I jokingly said to my husband, she kind of gets drawn into Frank Castle's bullshit and then like ends up having to like, get pulled into that when Madani kind of ends up like getting swept into it as well. Like she kind of gets pulled in by extension.
That is like the premise of that show. You get pulled into
Frank Castle bullshit. But yeah, so yeah, not a ton of stuff from her, but again, it's the sort of thing where you can just watch her sit on the couch and drink wine and she'll just draw your eye and keep your attention. So I think this was her first scene in season 1, but honestly, I think it's the best scene of the whole.
Yeah, let me
If we're
play
gonna
the
show a clip
scene.
from that.
Yeah, let me pull that up here. And yeah.
Why is it that you resent being home so much, do you think?
I resent being forced to come back. I resent that no one is hiding that fact. Mostly, I resent that no one wants the truth.
I just want you to be sure that this case of yours isn't just a way to avoid dealing with losing someone you were close to.
I didn't lose anyone. They killed him. I told Ahmed he could trust us. I told him he could trust me.
How much are you drinking these days?
Jesus, Mom. Now and then. Maybe more when I'm home and have access to your $100 bottle stuff. I know your heart is in the right place, but I don't need therapy. Definitely not from you. No offense.
None taken.
That right there. That is why therapy would never work for me. Talking to you is like interviewing a suspect you know has all the answers and just smiles in your face.
That's not about being a psychiatrist. It's about being your mother. Nice to have you back. Nice to share this with you.
It's temporary. Just till I find a place.
Every night, I drink a glass of wine over dinner with your father. He usually pours it for me. And not once in almost 40 years has he joined me. His faith is as strong as my lack of it. I sometimes ask him, how can a surgeon believe in God? He says he would go mad if he couldn't see some kind of guiding principle in the world.
I have faith in a system. In our system, the one that took you and Dad and made you wealthy and respected. This country gave us freedom. But it's fragile. It needs protection.
Your father's faith in God doesn't mean that he cannot see the flaws in his religion.
Why don't you just tell me what it is you're trying to say, Mom?
This case of yours is heresy, Dina. You've been told as much. What you're doing scares me. I don't want to see your head on a plate.
Yeah, so, again, kind of the conversations. A lot of her scenes are kind of like that, having these conversations and kind of deep, meaningful conversations, and doing it in a way where it's almost like she's always in control of the situation in some ways. At least that's from a character standpoint. That's how it definitely seems like. I am trying to think who else here has seen The Punisher. Any thoughts on that? But yeah, I mean, it's a small role. There's this one other scene that she's really good in. Again, her being bilingual, talking in Farsi with her husband when Frank Castle gets brought in and needs like an emergency kind of like procedure done in the bed. It's just so well done because it's like, it's just mastery in terms of being able to talk and being, very genuine. Yeah. And I kind of left the last one. Quality is asking, wow, what show was that again? That was The Punisher. It's on, it's a Disney show. I think it had 2 seasons. She was in the first season for about a few episodes. Actually, The Punisher is going to be back in Daredevil, right? John Bernthal is coming back. So at least more Frank Castle, more Frank Castle stuff is what's going to happen. And yeah, last but not least, Jenny. House of Sand and Fog, a movie that we both watched in the last few days and are devastated. So let's talk about that one.
Yeah. I went into the movie completely blind. I figured there would be a house and sand, possibly some fog. So
There's a lot of fog.
I
There's a
went,
lot of fog.
yeah, a lot of fog. It is a beautiful movie. I devastating. I'm actually really glad I watched it though for the Shohreh of it all, because it is probably the most unique role of hers I've seen. All of the other roles like that I've ever seen her in, she is authoritative. She's she has that presence where she walks in and she's the most interesting, most captivating person in the room. In this movie, she's really vulnerable.
Yeah.
Really, really vulnerable. And like part of that, she's an immigrant and doesn't speak the language, and so she feels uncomfortable in the world that she's living, and you see that. And it's the first role of hers where I wanted to like protect her. I didn't
Right.
feel that I wanted her to protect me, like, which
Right.
is normally the feeling that she gives me. Like,
Yes.
I want, in this movie, I wanted to protect her from what was going around her that she did not understand and did not have the ability to handle.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's this is I don't know if I saw this one interview of hers about this role and how she got it, and she said when the book came out and she read it and she heard that it was being made, she was like, this is for me. This was made for me. And she kept thinking that, and she really wasn't established other than I think she had done 24 at that time in Hollywood. And they called her, and I think the production house or whoever was making the movie like went around LA asking like, are there any Iranian actresses? And literally everyone was like, yeah, Shohreh Aghdashloo, you need you need her. And the vulnerability part, the one clip I'm gonna play, it's so again, this doesn't spoil much other than it shows you about so this is
I'm trying not to spoil it because I know you and I are the only two people who've seen it.
Yeah, but this is Jennifer Connelly, the other kind of main character in the visiting and talking to Shohreh. All right.
I am sorry for keeping you to waiting. How is your foot?
Better, thank you. Can I come in?
Please, come in.
I grew up in this house. It's the house that my father left to me and my brother when he died. The county evicted me from this house by mistake, and your husband bought it, and now he won't sell it back for less than 4 times what he paid. Now, I don't want to argue with him. I really don't. It's just that if this goes to court, it could take
They
months.
are to deport us?
I don't know.
You must see. They will kill us. They will shoot my children.
You don't understand a word I'm saying, do you?
Please, you are a very nice girl. Please, you write for me everything I want for to understand. For discussing with my husband. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean that there's many more scenes like that where she shows her kind of persona of, I'm keeping it together, and then like I can't keep it together, and you're like, oh, this person's like just having a conversation, and then like she's like, I can't take, I have too many emotions that I need to express right now, and she does it really well.
So I don't know if you guys are watching chat, but the stream is gone.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Oh,
Stream
no.
takedown.
No. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Let me double check.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying. No, no, no. Okay.
I do see. Let me try this.
YouTube can't handle Shohreh. Just.
Let me try this. Let me try this.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you could. I wonder if it's on Instagram. If can you see it on Instagram?
Yeah, it's still
Oh,
there.
no.
Looking up on my end on Insta.
Okay. All right. So we're
Okay.
definitely there. Let's see if yep, people are here. Let me try to see if I can do something to get it back.